Good morning, brothers and sisters. I wanted to share this awesome quote by Dave Hunt regarding the resurrection of Christ. After the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the rabbis had an even more powerful evidence for the resurrection of Christ than the witness of the ordinary people who had testified that they had seen with their own eyes Lazarus come out of the grave, bound hand and foot with grave clothes. They had the eyewitness account of the trained and disciplined Roman soldiers who had guarded Christ's tomb and had reported their terrifying confrontation by the angel who rolled the stone away to expose the empty tomb. Yet in spite of this testimony of a platoon of tough and now badly shaken soldiers, so hard were the rabbis' hearts that they bribed the guards to say that the disciples had stolen the body while they slept. Matthew 28, verse 13. Both the rabbis and the Roman authorities knew full well that Christ had risen from the dead. To supply further proof of the resurrection to those who were determined to deny it would not have changed anything. It would only have made their judgment all the more severe because of the additional evidence for which they would have been accountable. So Christ was actually merciful in not appearing to the rabbis and to the multitudes of others who would not have believed under any circumstances. Clearly he was following his own advice, not to cast pearls before swine. Matthew 7, verse 6. As for the rest of the people, they were confronted by many resurrected individuals who testified to them of the resurrection of Christ. Quote, "The graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose after Christ's resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many." Matthew 27. Thereafter, both the rabbis and all the people had additional proof of the resurrection in the miracles that were done through the disciples in the name and power of Christ. With great power gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of the Lord Jesus, and great grace was upon them all. Acts 4, verse 33. By the hands of the apostles were many signs and wonders wrought among the people, and the people magnified them. And believers were the more added to the Lord, multitudes both of men and women, insomuch that they brought forth the sick into the streets, and laid them on beds and couches, that at least the shadow of Peter passing by might overshadow some of them. There came also a multitude out of the cities round about Jerusalem, bringing sick folks and them that were vexed with unclean spirits, and they were healed every one. Acts 5, 12 through 16. The very transformation in the disciples, which the Pharisees acknowledged, was more than sufficient proof of the resurrection. The disciples, like the cowards they were, had abandoned Christ in the garden and had fled to save their own lives. Yet here they were, these unlearned and ignorant men, now no longer afraid, but boldly indicting the rabbis for having delivered Christ to be crucified. In spite of beatings and threats of imprisonment and death, these former cowards were now courageously standing up to the rabbis and with great conviction testifying that their Lord had risen from the dead. In his name they were doing astonishing miracles that were convincing multitudes. No further proof was needed.